Forever. Dog.
I've been working more from home than I ever worked from work.
Is that the truth? Oh man.
I got a brand new ring light. I got 2 green screens, so I got a bunch of sound equipment. I'm doing a lot, friends. I'm doing a lot. I'm tired because on my weeks off, I work another job. So.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so with the show, I mean, it's a blessing to be working, so I can't,
Right, of course.
But at the same time, it's like, hey, man, you told me I was going to be home with time. It's been interesting. I think it's great that, like, they've been telling us all this time that, like, oh, yeah, you can't do that job from home. I'm just like, everybody works in an office. There ain't no reason for really nobody to be walking in the bitch. So.
And now everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it.
You can't get no. I tried to get a computer desk and went to Walmart and IKEA. Sold out. Even the section where you can build your own desk. The dude was like, we have no tops. I was like, so I can't build a desk. I can't build no desk. Because everybody just at home.
I was trying to get a printer only for crafting purposes. And the printers were sold out. When in the history of life have you ever thought, oh, there's no printers?
Yeah.
Also, your home. What are you printing? What is anybody printing?
It's home office. This is all we doing now.
So it's just printing shit. We're just printing.
Everyone's printing.
But like signatures are electronic. So I mean, DocuSign, I wonder what their stocks are looking like right now. Because bumping.
Surely.
They gotta be. Them, PDF. They living a life. Pay.
No one's living better than Zoom. Because I'd never heard of Zoom before quarantine. And now I spend all day on Zoom. Like, this is Zoom.
Let me tell you something. I feel so bad for Skype right now.
Right? How did this happen?
Skype was I was trying to write a bit about it, but nobody was really feeling how I was feeling about it. But like Skype was the OG bottom. We've been Skyping.
Yes.
You've been able to look at your mama from across the country since what? 2005?
Right.
Yep.
Skype popped up and was just like, yo, you want to see your mama while you're on the phone? Skype. And then Zoom just slid up out of nowhere like, hey.
But how? How did this happen?
Because you can get more people on a Zoom than you can on Skype. I think that's what it was. Because you could literally get, with Zoom, you could get 50 people on a call. You can't do that with Skype.
Yeah, there's something real shady about Zoom coming out in like January, quarantine hitting March, and then all of a sudden everyone had a corporate account.
Oh no.
I'm just saying, something feels real shady.
Well, I didn't even know when I learned about these corporate accounts, because I didn't know it would just cut you off. Because like my friend, we did her it was one of those birthday Zoom parties. And so we were doing like crafting together and all of that. And she, I think it was after like an hour or two, it just automatically just cuts you off. And then you have to jump back in.
Listen, the swindle's real.
They get the timer up on the corner, and it just starts counting down. I was actually I was on a Zoom call that had that timer up, and then it said less than a minute. And we were talking, we were like, it's been more than a minute. Maybe it won't end. And it felt like it was going to end, and I was like, this is what it feels like to live in 2020. You know everything's coming to an end. You just don't know exactly when. So we all just kept talking like, I don't know, it's going to end at some point, but I guess we'll just keep on going. What else do we do?
Or they'll trick you. And it's like, it's about to be up. And then when the time goes up, it's like, ooh, Zoom has gifted you a premium session. So it's now unlimited. It's like, I know what you're doing. All right. You just want me to know that you gifted me this because I only have 40 minutes because I'm broke. So now you're trying to say, hey, brother, if you want to go past 40 minutes, get this premium. So we all got to see you in a broke ass in the corner. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Dude, you gotta get that premium though, Jerah, if you want to live like a boss.
Come on, man. We got to guess. You ain't got to do that transition. We don't have to. Like,
No,
we don't.
no, I'm just saying all I was saying is if you want to, feel special,
I heard you.
You
don't
get
have
the
to say it
premium
again.
account.
Yeah, you ain't got to
So
say
if you get the premium account, man, you like a boss.
Sometimes
you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
it's like when you do it
Wow,
normally,
wow.
it makes me sad. But when we have a special
Hey,
guest,
man,
then I get really
listen,
sad.
You know how I do. I do like a boss.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Oh no, he can't.
All right,
even do
let's
it
start the
He can't
show.
even handle himself right now. No. Let's live in that.
You're experiencing my pain.
Let's live. I apologize, Jerah. I did not know that this was the life you were living. Also, I have to say, fucking Astronomy Club. Oh my God. I was telling everybody
Thank you.
to watch that. That fucking Cat Williams sketch, I've never
God.
laughed. I was losing my I was in a lift and I was just like, I'm gonna have to watch this outside this car because
I
I'm
love
losing
you
my
watching
shit.
it in a lift.
And I was like, I just saw the little thing on Instagram and I was like, ooh, and I was like, what is this show? Bitch. Like I was putting it in my stories. I was like, y'all have to watch this shit. That one where it was like the Victorian throwing shade shit. Fucking I loved that shit. I was like,
Thank you.
and then I was watching, I was like, this is amazing. This is getting canceled. Every time I was like, oh, this is too funny.
Yo.
This is too fun. Like anytime you watch something, you're like, this is clever, it's fun, this is fun. This is getting canceled. What is really fucking funny? I was like, I was so excited to watch it. And I was like, I'm too happy right now. This is too funny. This is too good. It's just, her black crack, she disappeared. This shit's done.
Oh, thank you.
Done.
That was a fun, interesting time, I think. I think there was so many lessons learned from that whole experience.
Yeah.
So
It's all,
good.
So
Thanks.
many lessons. Thank you.
I was so mad because I was like, because I ran into Monique at like a show and I was like, and I was like, please tell me. She's like, no. And I was like, like I wanted to tear my shirt like Usher and cry in the rain. I was so sad. I was like, but it's so good. Why would they do that? Cat Williams was talking about Shakespeare. That fucking, because I'm a theater kid. So, and then like it's so funny to the reason it was so funny to me was that like people put Shakespeare on like such a pedestal,
Right.
And it's made just to be such heightened language, and it's just like he invented 200 new curse words.
Right.
This was made for the people who sat in the penny seats.
Exactly.
Like this is who this was designed for.
Right.
And then now, so many hundreds of years later, it's Shakespeare. When originally this was the bawdiest and the gaudiest. Like this was supposed to be like for the raunchiest. Like this was like. It's like literally like they just like he described sex in Othello as making the beast with two backs. Does that sound classy to you? No. So to have a Cat Williams character explaining Shakespeare, it's like, oh, this is getting back to the original, like what's the word I'm trying to say?
It was like the original ratchetness to me. It's like, yo,
Yes.
Like Shakespeare was not classy in any way,
Not
shape, or
in the
form.
fucking least. Like they stole their building brick by brick and moved it
Yeah.
in the middle of the night. Doing some shit. I'm like, oh, you want to do what? Fuck you. We're taking our whole building. You know what shady ass nigga you gotta be to move a building in the middle of the night? He gonna raise our rent? Fuck him. We taking the building. That's the most nigga shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yo.
That's like repoing somebody's rims. Like, that's just like, I've never heard of some. I was just like, yeah, but this is like for me, so it was like, this is getting you back to like the inception, like with the creation of all of these fine works. It's when you put it that way and explain it, and it was like, oh yeah, when you a weak nigga, your bitch gonna get you murdered. Just like,
Yeah.
yes, yes, you will.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Oh man.
Your cousin's getting in a fight, and now you in some shit. Yes, makes perfect fucking sense.
Yeah, I mean, that makes me happy. Because when you think about it, there's so much stuff where I think even hearing you talk about being a theater geek, like, I know it's so crazy sometimes for people to assume that black people just love theater and will know about like musicals, will know about things outside of just August Wilson. So to even think, because James wrote that, James will talk about Shakespeare at length on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Just like every play, like every intricacy of it. And I'm like, oh, it's cool because we all know Cat. And I feel like you have some of the real niggas who know Cat Williams, know everything Cat Williams has been through. But then also you got like the blacks who probably went to a college that was white or like grew up in the suburbs who definitely know some fucking Shakespeare. And it's like, boom, we can bridge both worlds. It's just sometimes you feel like we're not allowed to like do both at the same time. I feel like they either want you to be like super suburban and white pleasing or just some Goonie shit.
Yeah, that's why like I love this sketch where it was just like people not being able to get into the building. Like who they wouldn't let in. And I was like, when it got to vampire, I was like, these niggas are stupid.
Yeah.
These niggas are stupid.
Yeah, we're silly.
And then it was daytime. I'm like, he shouldn't even be out here. Like, what's happening? Fucking day walking vampire trying to get to his apartment. Like, nah, dog, we can't.
Oh my goodness.
And then when you think, and then the other thing is with like, if you remember the thing about vampires where like they have to be invited in somewhere.
Right.
Which I always thought was a crazy fucking rule.
It's such a weird rule.
It's such a weird rule where I'm just like, all right, I could murder you and suck your blood, but you gotta ask me to come inside. Like, no! I'm not, I know this is what your campaign is. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, you right, you is sexy as fuck. Come on in, you can murder me. No! And then you can rescind the invitation. Like, I remember like watching True Blood, and she rescinded Bill's, like the girl, Sookie rescinded Bill's invitation, and literally an invisible force just sucked him out of the fucking house. And I was like, honestly, this is where manners has just gone so far. But because we all wish we could do that. Like, yeah, I need to get this nigga to fuck up on my house. He's talking a bunch of shit. He's got his Timbs on my hardwood. Get this nigga up on my house. I rescind your invitation. Fuck, he's still here. Like, that worked.
Didn't work.
But yeah, that shit. But that, so for me, I thought about that. I was like, one, this is silly, but also, can this vampire ever get in his own building? Does he always have to be invited in?
Damn,
he does live here, but I guess since other people live here, he's like, you have a key, like, but you have to invite me in. Like, no, nigga, you live here. I understand, but
damn,
them's the rules. I want to go to bed. You have to let me in. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about astronomy because I fucking loved it so much. I was so mad.
You know,
I just wanted to throw something. I was like, you mother. Ah! I screamed in my home.
I appreciate that, you know.
Yeah.
I think we all did a little bit of yelling in ours too.
I hear you. I hear you because sometimes you just you're just like, y'all weren't. Like, it's just, it's just so fucking like, because the writing was good, because like there's so many times it's like as a comic and as an actor and just someone who's just consumed TV your entire life, like I can watch something and go, all right, boom, 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 boom's gonna happen, and then you watch it and then boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
Why did I do this? And then every time I watch one of y'all sketches, I was like, oh, didn't see. So you can end a sketch without someone dying being the punchline? Great. I love it. There's so many sketches that I see. It's like, well, he died. I'm like, no, pick a bigger choice.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah. Death is the ultimate crutch of a button in sketch. Not that we're above it, but it's definitely trying to not use it, not using it every time, because it's like okay, and then what happens? And then he dies. You're like, all right.
Right, because it's like when you see certain, like, having it in a sketch where it makes sense, you love, because it was like that's what you needed the final thing to be.
Right.
But then there's other times you watch sketches, you're just like, why did he die? What?
Right.
Yeah.
He was driving a car. He was driving a space milk truck. Why the fuck is he dead?
Yeah.
The space milk truck.
He could have just driven it to another planet. I don't fucking understand. Like, so many times, especially when you watch like, there's so many people doing long form improv that should not be doing long form.
Yeah.
So many long
you don't
form
have
sketches.
to get into that, because that is a full podcast episode.
That's a full podcast in itself. Because, like, I remember, like, I was in LA. There's all these sketch groups and shit. I just remember sitting there, just like, yo, this has been going on for 7 minutes. They lost this sketch at 3.5. I don't know where they are. They don't know where they are. He's driving a car. She's plowing a field. This is not the same place. This sketch can end right now. And they just keep going. It's 8, 10. I just went, ah! I just went to the back. Also, there was only 4 audience members, so when I made noise, we all knew.
The sketch is hard, man. It's like...
It is hard, and I've done it. And that's how I know it's hard. I've done improv, and I've done sketches, and I've done stand, and I've done all this, and it's like, we all know it's hard. But we all know it's also hard to watch. You're bombing a sketch, end it. Everybody die. Kill it. Go away. Yes, and can sometimes be a problem. No, but try it. Just try it. I said I was doing an audition one time for a Kraft commercial. We're supposed to improv something, and this guy was doing it with some white dude. He just was trying to introduce some nonsense into the sketch, and he was like, and it was the moment when I should have yes and I just went, no. And then I kept us on track.
No, the cheese does not start talking. It's
no,
the
it
cheese
doesn't.
isn't.
Actually, no. But what it did do is it did this, and I can tell you, when the day came to film that commercial, guess who was on set and guess who wasn't?
I love how you're sipping the water.
Yeah, girl. Brah, 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 brah.
That's perfectly timed. That's perfectly timed. Shit.
We out here.
God, I guess we gotta talk about this movie, y'all.
We do.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can't jump.
In Hollywood. Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Quarantine City.
Brah, brah, brah.
There we go.
Hey, there you go. Yo, low-key, that's what James be doing. That's that was great. That was
She knows it.
Great. Yes.
Perfect.
That was great. Didn't even miss him on that.
real quick, for those listening for the first time, my name is Jonathan Braylock.
I'm Jerah Milligan. Hold on, wait.
James III isn't here.
He ain't here, okay? Let me get ready to introduce.
Did you say he's in Palm Springs? Is that really
James
where
is
he
in
is?
Palm Springs, having a retreat. Yeah, he's like, he said he's going to write, clear his head, him and the missus. I'm like, all right, Palm Springs and quarantine babies. I'm just saying, brother. I was like, quarantine babies are real.
Yeah.
A couple of my friends have gone to Palm Springs.
I mean, they made a movie about it.
That's all I know about Palm Springs is that movie that just came out. The Andy Samberg one.
But we do have an incredible guest with us in the studio today. Honestly, it's been too long. We should have had you in way sooner. I don't know what happened, honestly. But okay, go ahead.
I don't know. The world stopped.
Wait. let me get my drums. Let me get my drums ready. Hold on. I haven't done it in a while.
I love this.
Mm-hmm. right, it's Dulce Sloan, everybody.
But what?
You made me wait for that. You fucking
I know. Jerah does
What?
not
What
know
you
how to
mean?
do drums.
What are you talking about? It's like, I even gave you had to sneer.
Listen.
I gave you a
Boom, boom. Shh.
see. You had to I had a kick drum, a little kick drum in there too.
Oh my God.
Okay,
you
so
know
wait, where are y'all at? I'm on the Daily Show. I got a movie coming out. I got
there-
a cartoon coming out.
So you don't even
Yo,
watch
she just ran by. She's like, okay, we get the credits, we get the Daily Show. Yeah, you see me Comedy Central presents and everything, all of this stuff. All right.
I've got a half hour on Comedy Central. I've got a movie called Chick Fight because I just felt my publicist go, you bitch. So I've got a movie called Chick Fight coming out in November that's going to be on the streaming services.
Hell
I'm
yes.
in a cartoon called The Great North that's going to be on Fox. We're currently working on
very
our
excited
second
about
season,
that.
and the
Ooh.
first season comes out next year.
That's dope as hell.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm currently single and looking for a man to hold me tight. All right, we said
all
other
right.
stuff.
Slide
Hey,
in
man.
her DMs. Go
Hell
ahead.
yeah,
shoot
get
your
this
shot.
quarantine. Oh, I have a question about that. This is a complete tangent. But the dating during quarantine, do you be doing like Zooms or is it like a social distance kind of walk
Okay,
situation?
my homegirl was like social distance on CAs. I took all of the apps off my phone because I knew I was going to be incredibly angry if someone did not respond to me because I know you're doing nothing. You're not busy. No one's busy. The whole fucking world's home. And you didn't respond back to my message. I'll burn your apartment building down. Dare you! So yeah, I had to take them off of my phone because it was making me angry. Basically.
Respect.
Because if you message me, you're busy. I'm gonna, you fucking liar. And no one needed that.
Don't say you're in New York, right? You're in New York right now?
I am suffering through the city known as New York. Yes.
Yeah,
Where
we're
y'all
in
at?
LA. We're in LA.
Yeah.
It's on
okay
fire
here.
still?
It was.
I know, like the northern part of the state is more on fire. There was some fires down here. It was really bad a couple days ago. It was like
The smoke, right?
smoke.
It was
and,
like orange. It was like
raining
orange.
ash.
It was
The
crazy.
sky was, it like if you were outside for too long, you'd be like, what? You know, it's
And you
it
can't
was
cough
pretty bad.
anymore. Not during COVID.
No.
Well, you got
You can't cough.
the mask.
Nah,
Even with the
man.
mask on, people are still looking at you weird.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
I don't
Like,
play
no, my
that.
throat was
it's
dry.
gotten a little better.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I'm just thirsty.
Don't you dare. Don't.
But all the ash is getting into my lungs.
I was in New
Wait,
York.
on-
In New York, had the bars
ahead.
on the sidewalks and like in the streets, and they didn't have people wearing masks. And like there was this one time, these friends were taking shots, and one person you could tell clearly was choking, like legitimately probably took this shot, went down the wrong pipe. But because they kept coughing, not only did the friends legit, like in the movie, slowly back away, and everyone just stopped to see how long this person was going to choke, no one helped. No one gave water. It was just like, yo, do we need to leave the restaurant so you can just choke out? And it was crazy.
Well, you know, the rule
Crazy.
about choking is that if they can cough, they can breathe. So if someone's choking and they're coughing, that means they're getting some kind of air. So
As
you're
opposed to
not-
like gagging.
Right, because if it's just like, and there's nothing, then there's obviously, like, you have to do, like, Heimlich. But if it's like the, like, there's some air coming in, because if you can cough, you can breathe. So, I mean, I heard that, and I'm still like, nah, bitch, give me the Heimlich. Do something. Because sometimes when you're choking and you drink water, then it's just, like, water sitting on top of the choke.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, drink water. I'm like, bitch, I can't.
Yeah. No.
I'm already having a hard time negotiating the liquid that I took before. That's why I'm currently choking. We don't know what we're doing. We want each other to die, honestly. But you're right, because it's like I just was the other day, was like walking around with that mask on, my throat got dry. And I was like, sometimes your throat gets dry, you get to cough. And I just held it. I was like,
Same.
I hope I got a piece of gum in my purse. But yeah, the outside seating has been interesting because it's just like, that's why I was so like confused about LA, because I was just like, LA's always had an outdoor seater.
Yeah, it's been weird out here. I feel like they didn't set it up right in the sidewalks. Like New York, they could take over some of the street, so it was like it just seemed like a better setup. But also, I told John and James this when I got to New York. The basketball courts still were having tournaments. The parks were still packed. No one had a mask on. And I'm like, something about these numbers feel fake because it was just so many people just sweating
No.
each other's
That's
face.
just people who didn't. The parks, because I live in Queens, the parks around here were closed. You weren't allowed to go to the parks. And there were still people going to them.
Right.
Also, because it's like, my friend was like, in certain neighborhoods, like if you're in certain neighborhoods, the trains were like dead empty. And then other neighborhoods, they were just as packed as they'd always been because niggas still gotta go to work. So it just depended on where you were in the city. Because like I saw people having like a park party yesterday. It had been months before I saw people in the park. But then there's just been certain people in my neighborhood where it's just like those old men who sit at the park all day. They were still doing what they was doing and they didn't have masks on the whole time. They're like, we out here. We playing chess. We chilling. We're going to drink this coffee. But it was here it was interesting. And then like we would cheer every day for the first responders and everybody. The worker, like, what is the word it was called? Essential workers. Like every day at 7 for like 3 months. It was like, I remember this one man would just go outside. I saw him one day. I was coming back from the store and he would just, every day at 7 o'clock, he'd go outside, he'd bang a pot, literally wooden spoon on pot, and he'd walk back in his house. And we did that for a good 3 months. And then one day I was just like, oh.
They were like, hey, we in quarantine for 7 months. I'm done.
It basically is what it was. One of my friends, he lives across the street from a hospital, but he lives down in Brooklyn, and he said he's like they did it for 3 days, and then they were just like, "You get it."
Well, you know what? That's the state of the world right now.
It's been wild, but folks are out now in these parks and stuff. Your girl's getting her nails done again.
Hell yeah, they look good.
Thank you, because I was doing my own in quarantine. I had to learn.
I want a haircut so bad, but I have nowhere to go. So it's like you just
you can figure it out.
Yeah, man.
Don't figure it out. Clippers play no games.
I think they opened them up again actually out here to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they just did. They're open now. I mean, it's like limited service, you know. They one at a time kind of thing, but
look at his eyes. Don't give him all that hope.
Yo, honestly, it's been since February.
Yeah, call your place, figure it out.
What's up, folks? Today's episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? I'm talking about ready to go. You feel me? I mean, you was ready. You know, your partner was ready. Everybody was ready to get it going on. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence you need in bed. Listen, everybody want to just get that little boost. You know, Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in the line at the pharmacy. You don't have to worry about the pharmacist looking at you all sideways, secretly judging you. You ain't got to worry about that because it ships directly to your door in a discreet package. So don't worry about your neighbors going through your stuff, asking your questions. Don't worry about the person delivering it, giving you the eye. This is discreet, baby. All right. And it's made in the US. And since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy and it's not awkward and you never have to leave your house. All right, unless y'all want to leave your house, you know what I mean? All right, right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit bluechew.com and get your first shipment free. That's free. All right, when you use our special promo code Hollywood. All you got to pay is $5 for shipping. Again, that's bluechew.com, promo code Hollywood to try it for free. Blue, BLUE, chew.com. All right, Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring this podcast because we need the sponsors, baby. All right, because we need them. All right, so go to bluechew.com and use our promo code Hollywood right now. Yeah, thank us later.
Hello, Forever Dog listeners. My name is Kelly Nugent, and I wanted to introduce you to my new narrative horror podcast, Exile. I wrote, performed, produced, and mixed this show, and the hauntingly beautiful music was composed by Annalise Nelson. The first ep drops September 10th, and new episodes will come out Thursdays. Available wherever you get your podcasts. In the post-apocalyptic future, a young woman is exiled from the small religious enclave of Haven for a crime she did not commit. Lurking in the surreal horror of the wilds are beasts and fiends, but these monsters illuminate her past, her relationships, and the circumstances surrounding her exile. This is her audio diary. It's been 64 days since I've left Haven. I despise going against council orders, but I have to find my way back. I fumbled to fold my slip, but a man next to me shouted, "It's her! It's her!" The electricity in my skull felt like the buzzing of cicadas, and all I knew was that I had to destroy her lest I be consumed by madness. The Creator gives you this woman as a wife. Do you accept? He lurched forward, his face descending onto mine. I turned my face and he fell into the crook of my neck. The impact of his cheek on mine burst his skin and maggots spilled out onto my neck and into my lap. Exile was not a gift. I would kill them all. I'm afraid to go in. I'm afraid that it'll feel the same. I'm afraid that it'll feel different. I'm really proud of this thing. Writing and performing this podcast was a very personal, cathartic, and at times traumatic experience. It is my hope that this podcast helps someone, that through the lens of surreal horror, other people who have experienced trauma like mine can find some kind of peace. Subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we got to talk about this movie, though.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
film
ready
review
for a tangent.
podcast. We review films leading black actors. We talk about them in the context of race and diversity in Hollywood. And today we're reviewing this film came out this year, even though it feels like forever ago. But
Did
Like
it?
a Boss. Yes,
Came out in January. It came out in January.
It's, January 2020, which might as well be, January 2010, because that's how long it feels like we've been in quarantine. But the film stars Tiffany Haddish, Salma Hayek, and Rose Byrne, as well. Billy Porter and Jennifer Coolidge are also in this movie.
And Natasha.
And, oh my God! Of course, friend of the podcast, Natasha Rothwell crushes her role in this. If I do say so myself. And this film, real quick, critics did not like it. It has a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it has a 65% audience score. It cost $29 million to make. It made $29 million, which means it didn't make money.
Oh, damn.
It's interesting. A lot of films this year are going to be. I mean, obviously the box office is all skewed this year, but this movie did come out.
The box office is closed.
Yeah, it's literally closed. This movie did come out in January though, so it had some time. It wasn't fully the pandemic. But I guess we'll talk about it because the premise of the film is simply you have these two best friends who are Tiffany Haddish and Rose Byrne, who've been best friends since they were in middle school, and they own a beauty. I guess it's not a salon; it's like a makeup. But they also do
own a
makeup there.
company.
Yeah, they have a company.
They have their own makeup company with a storefront. And they're not doing so well. And Salma Hayek is the owner of a just major conglomerate makeup company, like Mary Kay, I guess.
Oved.
And
That generation sold their soul. That's all I can think about. Like Salma Hayek, the Halle Berrys, the Keanu Reeves. How the hell did that 52 to 60 range of actors still look so young? Like Jennifer Lopez still looks crazy. I literally just found out Keanu Reeves is about to be 60 in 2-3 years. It shit don't make no sense.
So I think I get so Keanu Reeves I think is half Japanese. Salma Hayek's Mexican and Lebanese. Halle Berry's half black. So
there you go.
All right, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, the minorities, yep, you got it.
Have you seen Helen Hunt lately? No.
Yo, it's
There you
so
go.
crazy. It's so crazy you said Helen Hunt. Someone just brought her name up to me and I gotta figure out why. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and so what else? Oh yeah, so basically she, kind of doesn't fully purchase their company, invests in it, but owns 49%, and then is trying to break the friendship apart because if one of them leaves the company, So Salma Hayek will own all of it. And that's the premise of the movie. Great. Let's talk about it. Dulce, do you want to give us your kind of initial thoughts to Like a Boss?
One, I thought it was very funny. There's really great moments in it. When Billy Porter gets fired. And
oh my God, it's so good. It's in the trailer and it's still funny when you watch the movie.
Right. And it's just like, just live in my moment. Amazing. But also, I do have a fun story about this movie if you want to hear it.
Oh, please.
I do.
So, they filmed it in Atlanta, which I can always tell. And so they filmed it in Atlanta, and so I had gone home for like, I think Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I ran into Tiffany at a show, and she was like, "Oh, I'm here filming this movie, come to set," right? So I go to set, and like the scene where they first, and I was there for the scene where they first meet Salma Hayek's character, Clara Luna, and they're filming in the America's Mart. And so the America's Mart is like 7 different like giant buildings, but it's like if you are, like, you know, one of those housewives who's like a purse company, and you're just like, fuck this bitch gets these purses from. That's where they go to get like distribution and stuff like that. So they're in the America's Mart, and we're hanging out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. And so Tiffany was like, I quit, but Salma Hayek was like, oh, I'll go with you. It's been a long day. She's like, I'd like to have one. Also, Salma Hayek is tiny and she's hilarious. Like, we were sitting there just watching the scene, and there's a bunch of crew guys just sitting around, and we're kind of like standing there, and they send us this scene, and she goes, "You are letting these women just stand here? Get up!" And so everyone's cracking up. She's so funny. And so I was like, I'll go with you. And she's like, oh, who are you? You're very cute. I like you. And so we go to the roof, and so there's guys working on the roof, like a couple like Latino guys working on the roof, and they come up to her. What is happening with Jerah?
Sorry, I had a little desk that's going down.
Okay, I just saw his whole nose. And so they're like, the guy comes over and asks her in Spanish. I speak Spanish. So he comes over and asks her in Spanish. He's like, can I take pictures with you? But she was in wardrobe. But she's like, I can't take pictures in wardrobe because of the movie, but I'll come back and take pictures when I'm out of wardrobe. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So we talk, we chat. I go back downstairs, and I look at my phone, and some of the other guys tried to take pictures, but the foreman was like, you can't take pictures with her. And they're like, okay, like, she'll come back later, fine. I get back downstairs to my purse, and I see if there's a picture on my phone, and it's me smoking a cigarette on the roof with Salma Hayek. And I was like, who the fuck took this picture? My homegirl sent me the picture. She's like, are you on the roof smoking with Salma Hayek? I was like, what the fuck? What? Bitch, I'm on the roof. Who took this picture?
So quick, dude.
Her boyfriend was one of the guys working on the roof.
Who's? Salma Hayek?
My homegirl,
oh, your homegirl
in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Hilarious.
So I was like, the fuck? The paparazzi got drones? And I'm like, wow, so why are they taking pictures of me? Don't care about me. So my homegirl's boyfriend was working on the roof, and he sent her the picture. I was like, is Dulce on the roof smoking with Salma Hayek? The fuck? And then she sent me the picture to see if it was me, and I was like, yeah, it's me. And I was like, why didn't he say anything? It's like, they couldn't say anything to Salma Hayek. And I'm like, he could have said something to me. I know him. He could have came and talked to me. And she's like, they weren't allowed to go over there. And I was like, okay. But I was like, just when I thought Atlanta was small,
wow,
it got smaller. There's 7 America's Mart buildings, and I just happened to be in the one.
Wow.
I just happened to see Tiffany, just happened to go smoke a cigarette with Salma Hayek, and my friend's boyfriend's on the fucking roof, fixing the roof. And I was like, just when you thought the world was too small, someone gets a paparazzi picture of you smoking cigarettes with Salma Hayek on the fucking America's Mart.
With her orange redhead wig that she was rocking.
Yes, and that's why I love when Tiffany's character mentioned, she's like, that's a lace front. I could tell. That's not even her real hair. And then those teeth they had on her.
Oh my gosh, those teeth. And then I couldn't get past the contacts. I was like, yo, these blue-gray contacts are killing me, yo. Like, they're killing me.
But I get it. But it's like, if you are, it was like she was trying, because I like the fact that she was a redhead and not a blonde too. Because that would have been like the natural way to go, where it's just like you're trying to be like that whatever the standard of beauty is.
Yeah.
It's, you've got the light colored eyes and the gorgeous teeth. It's usually the blonde hair, but I do think it was more striking that she went as a redhead.
They definitely. I didn't peep it until, was it Tiffany or Rose Byrne's character said at the end that she looked like Jessica Rabbit, and I was like, yes, you look like Jessica. I was like, it didn't hit me until they actually said it. I was like, yes, red hair, the eyes, the teeth, her outfits all kind of had that coverage. Until I was like, yo,
it was all a very curvy outfit. Her boobs were huge because I was just standing next to her, and I was just like, you do look great. He's like, oh, thank you. No. Because I was like, are those Salma Hayek's real titties? I'm mesmerized. That's why I love the scene where it's just like, where she said something about, they referenced the side, like, Tiffany's character.
Yeah, small head.
Yeah, it said something about her having a small head, and she's like, oh, no, I don't have a small head. My breasts are just enormous. Yes. And that's how I feel sometimes. I look in the mirror and I was like, is my head too small for my body, or is my body too big for my head?
Oh, man.
Neither.
Which is never a place you want to be. You know what I mean? Thank you, Jonathan.
I mean, quarantine.
Jerah's just gonna laugh at me.
Well, I was thinking in my head just of like all the random thoughts I've had during quarantine, just about physical appearance. I feel like I've never questioned so much of reality until I was trapped in the house for months on end. Just like, didn't notice I had one tooth that kind of went that way. I was like, oh, this is all interesting to me now. So I get it, You
just in your own face just all the time. You're just like, oh, I did get a new.
Yeah, like just
staring at his own face.
Just examining.
Yeah, because like I didn't realize like I had I have a new mole over on my left cheek that wasn't there, and I was like, oh, I got a new mole. What is it? I didn't know I had. That's cute. Wait a minute. Where else do I have other new mole? Oh, there's a new mole on my head. Oh, there's a new mole. And then you're like, it's either find new moles or find something else ridiculous to watch on TV.
Right, and I'm out.
So
just constant.
And I'm out. I'm out of TV shows.
Jerah, what'd you think of Like a Boss?
This is my thing. I didn't necessarily like it, but there was one thing I really did like, and I was trying to figure out how to balance it. Like, the one thing I think this movie got right was like the friendship between Rose Byrne and Tiffany Haddish, and like I feel like I've been talking about comedy movies over the last couple of weeks with different people, and like, why they're struggling at the movie theater and stuff like that. And I'm like, it feels like there's a lack of love and heart in the movie, where this one had that. I think while watching it, the only thing I realized, I'm like, oh, you know what? It almost feels like the character, it's tricky. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. Either the characters that Tiffany Haddish and Rose Byrne played are too smart, or maybe we just know Tiffany and Rose are too smart to be as slapsticky and like silly as they were. Like when they were at the beginning, or maybe at the beginning, when they're on the roof and like about to jump in the pool, I'm like, no damn way. Like, there ain't no way somebody about to do that.
Yeah, that was
like,
that was strange.
It was like, that's not, like, you know what it is? I'm like...
I think Tessa out loud was like, why would they do that?
Yeah, it's like, why? And the thing is, I think it's so tricky is I think the movie is really funny, but I think the funnier parts are the smaller comedic moments. Like
yes.
Like the moments of just them interacting with Salma Hayek when they're first meeting her, and Tiffany's like not fucking with her. And
at all.
Like, there's certain funny moments. And then, Billy Porter, the fact that part is still funny when you watch the movie, knowing it was in both of the trailers, shows you how funny that moment was. So I think they just
when he's leaving and it's just like him, like just the slow roll out,
and he pushes the door
out at the crowd,
and he pushes the door.
Whole body pushes the door, and then I was watching. I just went not up against the glass, like it was just like it takes the moment to spy the chair, stops, pushes the door with the whole body, and then comes up against the glass. Like, it's still tragic. You still fight. And I was like, this is hilarious. Or like a lot of those moments, because it's like, I think like sometimes, I think because of Tiffany's personality, I think people don't acknowledge that she's actually a really good actress, because the moment when Rose Byrne's character was talking to Salma Hayek's character, She was acting the entire time.
Yeah.
And she was reacting the entire time. And she never stopped doing that. Anytime anyone else was talking, even if she wasn't the focus of the scene, she was still reacting to what everyone else was doing. Because a lot of times when I watch movies, I don't watch the character that's talking. I watch the other people in the scene. Because I love to see people check out. Because like, okay, I don't know this. We don't, as the audience, don't know this is the 12th take that they used. But I can tell because you're done. You're done. The person next to you is done. The person who's talking is still emoting. But you three over here, fucking over this scene. My favorite thing to do in movies is to watch whoever is not speaking. Or like when they have the moment where they're like making dinner. Like they're at their friend's house making Mexican food.
Yes.
And the girl who's like was supposed to be like the chef that came, she was like, it's like, she's like, one, my name's Brooke. Two, don't have a dick, but that's fine. Anyway, if you guys could just cut up these ghost peppers. But I think like the ghost pepper scene, it was kind of like I kind of figured it out before it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my thing with the, so this is my thing with the movie was like, I think the performances in this movie are great. Like there's so many funny people in this movie and they're all nailing it. Like Tiffany's nailing it. Like Rose Byrne's doing her thing. Salma Hayek is so funny in this. Like Billy Porter, Jennifer Coolidge is so funny. Natasha Rothwell is so funny.
Yeah,
Natasha Rothwell like is such a scene stealer too. Sometimes she's like,
this is the first time I washed my body. It just spilled milk on me. It's just like, instead of eating the Cheerios that were stuck to my son.
And his thick thighs. My son, my baby's thick thighs.
The Cheerios from his crevices and stuck to his thick thighs. It's the first time I watched and it's just like, but that's, and also when she's talking about how hard it is, whereas like she said she had the dream where her baby was crawling through all these mouse traps and it keeps taking pieces of him until he's gone. And she's like, oh, but you got to do it. And I was like,
you got to do it.
It's
the hard part with Natasha and watching her and stuff is like, I can't tell whether someone wrote something funny for her or if Natasha was like, I get what the gist of this is. I got it.
That's 100% what it is. No, you can tell. Like, there's no way. Like, just look at the rest of the script. There's no way that well, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Sometimes I say that and people are like, no, that wasn't the script. But I just felt like, especially that scene where the milk gets thrown up on her, it was so specific that I was like, it really doesn't feel like the writer, the people who wrote this movie wrote those lines. Like, but
also
who
like
knows?
The scene when they were like smoking around I'm like, why aren't y'all just smoking outside?
Yes. Like, why didn't you just like smoke out the window at least?
Also, they took the picture with the baby with the joint next to it, and then nothing ever happens with
nothing happened with it.
Yeah.
And that picture is like, that's the thing that's like, why did you do that? Like, this is really sophomore. Like, one, to be in the room and not know the baby's there is funny, but this is the thing for me with because we looked up, because there was a part where Tessa was like, who were the writers for this? And we looked it up, and it's two white guys, right? So
wrote this movie.
And there's a woman who's credited as story by with the other two white guys who also wrote the screenplay, and I don't know. There's something about that where we were like, yeah, it just doesn't. The heart of it is nice. Like I agree, Jerah. Like the friendship of it is really nice. The acting is really like the comedy actors are so good, and there's like some nice themes within it. But there's something about them, the big kind of comedic set pieces that just didn't really work. Like, and I don't know. I don't know why that is, but I just these guys don't really have other a lot of other like movie credits. I think this might be their first movie.
And
it is one of those things where it's like I don't understand necessarily how that happens, but I mean they must have pitched it, I guess. But.
This is my with this quote unquote diversity boom. There are still instances where I just sit back and think like. They be mad white dudes with no credits. And what I mean by no credits is I mean by like have never written a movie and has never been like staffed on more than one TV show, right? Can get a movie made and it's like, boom, now they're off to doing a bunch of shit. Whereas I know so many Black people who have been staffed on 2 or 3 shows, may have pitched a show, the show wrote the pilot, show didn't get picked up. Now they wrote this movie, but yet they still have to prove that they've done enough stuff in their past to be given this opportunity to like even just write the movie. Not saying you're trying to write and star in it, but just write it. And like, there's so many movies we do on this podcast, and I'm like, man, this script is trash. And then we go look, and it's like it's usually 2 white dudes who wrote a movie and who had never did anything before that. And I'm like, how the hell does this keep happening?
It's very confusing. To say the least, because you're just like, do y'all have so much faith in each other? Like, what is this? Because it gets to a certain point where it's just like, do these movies get made because it relates to your sense of humor because you're also a bunch of white dudes?
Right.
Or is it like, that's why I love the idea of just blind submitting scripts, where I don't sit in the meeting with you and convince you that this movie is a good idea. It's, here's my movie, here's my TV show. You look at it, and you, with your creative know-how, you decide if this should get made, and then you found out a Black lady wrote it.
I even get scared with that sometimes because I'm like, while pitching stuff now, I know everybody's like, oh, we want to hear from everybody. There's been very few rooms I can say this year I've pitched in that has had a person of color, let alone 2 on the development team. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times it's like, what makes me very nervous is like there are certain stories like Dulce, even here you kind of compare like what it was like with Shakespeare and even like how the Cat Williams thing related. I'm pretty sure you would have to be in a pitch room with at least a person who understands who Cat Williams is and what certain niggerisms are to really get something like that. And it's tough because like we're kind of pitching things to people who aren't diverse in life, not just color. But yeah,
this is the thing that this is the thing that confuses me about movies like a Boss. We recently talked about Mulan, and Mulan was written for the new live action Disney movie, and that was written by white people as well. So there was no like Asian writer a part of it, and there was like, and that's even more confusing because you're like, okay, if you're selling something and you know this is supposed to be for everyone. But like you have a specific thing, like it's weird to me to have 2 men write a movie that's so clearly about female friendship. Because then then it's like, well, they don't understand this experience enough, and it starts to show in certain places. Like that to me that was like, oh, okay. The funny thing they'll do is like jump into this pool or not. And again, it's not like women don't do certain things, but there is something about it that felt more like, I don't know, just like a dumb
Super
guy.
bad.
Like,
yeah.
It's just like, oh, they're like setting up these physical scenes that feel less feminine in a way. Like the sensibility of it is like, oh, this is something that will make guys laugh, even though.
Well, it's not only
characters.
that. It's just that women would have the forethought to smoke outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a baby. If you're not trying, not even women. It's regular people smoking weed at a baby shower. Smoke outside.
Right.
Because if the whole point is to not get caught, why would you do it in a closed room?
Yeah, it's gonna smell no matter what.
In the master
bedroom, if the baby wasn't there.
In the biggest bedroom.
In the biggest bedroom. And it's just like, I mean, thank you for a quiet baby, but it's like, if the whole point is to not get caught smoking this weed, it makes more sense as a general human being, not woman or anything, to go smoke outside. And then as soon as they climbed on the roof, I was like, oh, they're jumping in that pool. But I do love the point but I did like, it's like jumping in the pool didn't make any sense. But I forgave that moment when Tiffany's character pulls off the ponytail and throws it at the aunt. And then the one white friend goes, wait, that wasn't her hair. And Natasha just goes, it's a cultural thing. And so I was like, I very much appreciated that. But then also when the aunt is talking shit, talking about, my daughter just sold her alkaline water company for $5 million. She just had her first baby. And then Tiffany character goes, oh, congrats, Grandma Margot. And the woman goes, and then she goes, and then they go, and I was like, yes, that's exactly. We're not calling you your grandma, bitch. We know what you are. Oh, Aunt Margot, your grandmother now. And she just looked. But the moment the moment that lady took, before she was like, thank you. One, I grew up in Atlanta, so I know that lady.
Yes.
Two, that's exactly how that lady would. It wouldn't be an immediate. The thank you was like, okay, bitch. All right.
Yeah.
But I heard it. I heard it. And I was just like, that interaction made complete sense. Like, it was like all of the, because there were some times in their friendship where I was just like, she agreed way too quickly to start. Like, they would just agree to stuff. And then honestly, it was, I understand where they were just like, they were calling Tiffany's character a bully. And then they were calling Rose Byrne's character a pushover. But then you find out, like, because I didn't like the fact that I found out way later into the movie that Tiffany's character took Rose Byrne's character in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You find out way too late that that's how they're both, they're two grown women, they live in the same house. How did this happen? And it's like, oh, it's my mom died, left the house to us. We found out that when they were supposed to. But then you find out way too late that Mel's character, like Mel, Rose Byrne's character, grew up poor.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then her character was taken in by this black family. You find that out way too late in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's so
because if that's something that's supposed to motivate her actions, like, they're not making money, but if this is supposed to be a motivator for her, I needed to know earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. Why she was so into, like, making all this money instead of just, like, you know, because not everyone wants to be rich. Like, not, you know what I mean? Like, people want enough money.
Well, no one wants to be poor, but just like,
no one wants to be poor. But there's a difference between, like, hey, you have a good business and it's sustaining you, and you're like, you don't have to worry about bills, and like, oh, I'm a multimillionaire and I'm super famous and everybody knows who I am. And so it was kind of because I got I understood, like, hey, our shop really isn't doing that well. We don't want to lose the shop. You know what I mean?
But how are you $493,000 in debt?
Yes, that means you had no money.
How are you $500,000 in debt?
Yeah, I never understood.
Is her credit as a white? Because it was like, Mel, like, one point Mia goes, we got the shop because she's got the good credit. And I'm like, how? She grew up fucking poor. She lived with you from middle school. When the fuck did she get enough credit so y'all could be $493,000 in debt?
Just...
Yeah, I don't quite understand where that came from. I guess the mortgage of the place, but it was like, wait, how?
Product?
I don't understand.
But that's the thing about it. It's like, I feel like, and maybe it's not just this movie, but this movie is a good example of people trying to make a comedy but worrying about, like, the hijinks and not the heart of the story. And what's so funny about it is, I don't know why I sent this to like John and James this morning. I was watching this interview with Seth Rogen, actually, and he's talking about, you know, difference between story and plot, and he talks about Superbad and Long Shot, and he's like, you know, a lot of people were saying that Superbad was so niche that nobody was going to relate to it, but he was like, the thing that was so important to him is that growing up, him and his boy Evan were about to, like, go to different schools, and it's like they had never had other friends besides the two, so it's like, I'm losing a piece of me when this person leaves. And he's like, that technically was the whole point of the movie. Like, yeah, you know, they go on this adventure to get the alcohol, but he's like, if you think about it, every time it's a section of, like, the friendship matters, friendship matters. They have the big conversation, but then also the big comedic moments aren't that big. You know what I mean? Yes. The big comedic moments aren't fucking huge. The only crazy part is probably hanging out with the cops, which I guess one of their friends actually did because they're white. But just think about this movie. Like,
I can say I've been in a cop car before and I wasn't getting arrested.
oh wow,
He was just taking me to my car.
oh that's
Well, me and my cousin.
wow. That was actually wow.
I mean, it was late. It was dark. Me and my cousin needed to get into my car. And we were like, hey, we've never been in the back of a police car before. And he was like, yeah, all right.
Oh wow, I've been in one. It wasn't fun.
Listen, we were 19. You know, when you're 19, it's just like, can we?
Oh yeah, I get it.
Grown men let you do a lot of goofy shit. So, like, can we get in the back of your police car? We've never been. And he just looked at us and he was like, what? We've never been in one before. And he's just like, okay. It was like a white cop too, like Gwinnett County.
Wow.
So,
I mean, but even that relates to that movie. So even thinking about this movie, like them jumping into the pool scene, wow, and then like Tiffany climbing up the side of that when she was on that building, and then all of a sudden not on the building, on that high floor, and then almost like falls off
in the mall.
In the mall, and she's holding on to her
office
banner.
building, yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy.
Wait, can we talk about that part? Because I didn't fully. So that was like halfway of the movie where they're like,
I saw it coming. I saw it coming because you're
Right.
surrounded. So there's nowhere else to go.
nowhere else to go. So she like
but
kind of.
out.
She's like, all right, I'm gonna jump, but then later after that whole thing where she's like planking and like almost dies and they get pulls in, like both Salma Hayek and the guy who was the assistant was like, you know, like, oh, like I respect you for that, but I didn't quite understand
For almost killing
what was
yourself?
the respect. Yeah, I missed it.
I think it came from you could tell she already had a plan set up. So Salma Hayek's character already was just like, she just said, all right, I'm going to get this much of percentage of their company, and then I'm going to break up their friendship, and I'm going to own it. Boom. I'm not going to like, it's like, oh, you didn't give me the two-sided lipstick that I like. Fine, you're done. Boom, I get 49% of whatever you have, and you can't do anything about it. And I think most people just take it. And I think her thing was they came in making noise, and they came in fighting for their company. So even if it turned into a hijink, but it was still, I'm throwing shoes and purses at security. You're not gonna you're not gonna do this to us.
Like,
and because she was always right, and so she was like, you know, you have to reinvent yourselves. You have to be this. You have to be bolder. You have to be stronger. And then she was like, I got you. And they were like, fuck no. And I think it made me go, she's gotten away with this so many times because this is how she operates. And then because they keep cutting to her watching them have the altercation,
Right.
where it was just like, I have to respect them because they didn't let me screw them over.
Got it.
Is where it came from for me. It was still also, yeah, security didn't work. I'm calling the cops. I stole from you.
Yeah,
but the movie has to move
it's gotta
forward.
move. Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I mean, it's a movie move. Like in real life, no, they just call the cops and get arrested. But it's a movie move is what happened for me. And I was like, yep, that's what happened with a movie. They respect your gumption and your stick-to-itiveness. And you get rewarded for it. So yeah, as a movie, as the thing to progress a story of a movie, yes. My thing with this movie was, like, I got to the point where they got to the argument, and that was a really real moment.
Ooh, it was.
But I just remember going, this movie is funny. The story, it was like, the story wasn't matching up to the comedic moments in the movie. Because the movie was very funny. But I think if you put different actors in this movie would have been trash.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
But because it was casted so well, even though the story was so loose, and because the plot made sense, but the story was so loose that you had to have those high comedic moments, so you almost in your brain you could forgive how kind of weak the story was. Because like at the moment of him getting fired, could have just been and it could just been him, you know, that could have been done completely differently. Yeah. But because it was such a short scene, but it's the first thing we talked about.
Yeah. I mean, they had some good acting. That scene where because you know what it is. I also forget sometimes that Rose Byrne is one of those actors that started in dramas and then somehow slowly trickled over to comedy. I always think about that with John C. Reilly too. But like that scene when they're arguing, yeah, like Tiffany's a dope actor. So like Tiffany's mad as hell. Rose Byrne got the tears in her eyes, like as his friendship was about to end. So like that shit was so strong. And in my mind, that scene reminded me of the scene from Girls Trip, which is, to me, the scene that made me like Tiffany Haddish is the scene where all four women are having an argument. And I think everyone's going to go off on their own. And Tiffany gets her feelings hurt because everyone's like talking down on her. And then she keeps trying to storm off, but keep coming back to like finish her statement. But she's still angry. But like one of her heels broke, so she's like limping back and forth. And I'm like, what she does in comedy is so real because she's able to take a comedic moment, keep it comedic, but also give it some type of like weight and some type of levels. And like, oh, this is dope. It's just that after that scene, there was no more comedy to me for the rest of the movie until, look, man, when they go to that event at the end of the movie, I truthfully have no idea how they got like in the building, what the plan was.
Well, that was all movie. That was all movie magic.
That was movie.
Like, because they took over and then security guards never came. Like literally just there was no security at that point. It was like her assistant and she fires the assistant and then she's like, well, now I can't do anything. And you're like, this is your event.
Yes. Wait, like, no one can grab these people?
How do they get to completely take it over? Like
that
with
and the
zero.
Fact, and you know, with like, but I do like, you know, when they're like, they take the picture, but there's no payoff with the picture. Mm-hmm. When they say the woman's name, oh, Shea Whitmore, and she's like, shut up, Josh. And I was like, okay, she's going to show up eventually.
Yep.
Because she had to.
Yep.
Because I mean, it was just a little like, I don't know if it's like
you
a
keep
Easter
setting
egg,
it
but
up.
it's like, you keep setting it up. So there had to be a payoff of them meeting Shea. Like, you had to meet her.
Like, that's how it
also, when she got knocked down on the ground, she was on the ground for way too long.
That's what made it real.
Just face down on the floor for way too long. I was like, for the amount of time she's been on the floor, I expect a tooth to be missing.
I thought something else was good. I thought she was gonna like lift her head up and be like super angry and do something. I don't know. She was on the floor.
I thought one of the
long.
boobs bust.
Anyway. Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah. But
I thought a boob would go awry. I thought we would get a little bit more. But honestly, it's like, it's the part where they get in the argument. I like that moment because as a friend, like as someone who's like a close friend of yours, you never want to have that argument. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I never want to have the argument where I am telling you what I really, like the things that I would say to hurt you. You never want to have that argument, especially like your best friend for 20 years. You never want to have that fight. Mm-hmm. You never want to have that fight. So I like the fact that it wasn't just immediately into like, it was, okay, well, I, and you, and I, and you, and then they finally got to the point where they let themselves ramp up all the way.
That was good.
Hey! Time to break up with your old wireless provider and time to get in a deep, loving, and true relationship with Mint Mobile. Was that too sexy? I'm sorry.
Disturbing. Hi, everyone. This is Lindsay and Kelly from the Teen Creeps podcast, and we want to let you know that Mint Mobile is introducing their unlimited data plan for just $30 a month.
Let that sink in. An unlimited plan for $30.
How much is your soon-to-be ex-wireless provider charging you right now?
Listen, the last provider that I was using outside of Mint, I'm not going to say their name because they're dead to me.
No.
I was paying $90 a month, and I didn't even have unlimited data.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had like 10 gigs, and I was paying like 90-something, 94 maybe.
Yeah, and this is like so much cheaper, and I haven't noticed any difference in my coverage.
No, they use all the same cell towers. It's great.
For people that hate their phone bill and are just ready to cut ties with big wireless, Mint Mobile offers their premium unlimited plan for just $30 a month.
By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you.
All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts.
Dude, also switching over your SIM card is not that scary.
It's like a phone Allen wrench.
Yeah.
And you stick it in the little hole on the side and it pops out and it's tiny and cute. And the first time I saw it, I was like, oh.
I know. And I was really scared, but it literally took like under 5 minutes and then I was switched over to Mint Mobile. So it was very pain-free.
And if you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee.
Break up with Big Wireless and switch to Mint Mobile's premium unlimited data plan for $30 a month.
And make sure to check out the Ultimate YA Pulp Fiction podcast, our podcast, Teen Creeps, every Wednesday right here on Forever Dog.
To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $30 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Hollywood.
That's mintmobile.com/Hollywood.
Well, let's figure out this cause real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's time for the cause. We rate and review movies not based on how much we like them, but whether or not it helped the cause of leading black actors in Hollywood. So if we feel like it fully helped the cause, we give it a black fist. If we feel like it somewhat helped the cause, we give it a white palm. If we feel like it didn't really help the cause at all, we don't give it anything. Okay, so either a black fist, a white palm, or nothing. On the count of 3, we'll all raise up our rating. Yeah. Ready?
No.
1,
No.
2, 3.
Okay. That works.
Dulce gave it a black fist.
That works.
Jerah and I gave it white palms. It was tricky though, but yeah. Go ahead.
I'll say that what it did was it showed that, one, all the main characters in this movie were women.
Oh, true.
Yes.
2 of those women were women of color. So all of the action in the movie was motivated by a Mexican-American woman.
Right.
And then the other part of the friendship was a black woman.
Yeah.
So I can say that it was an example of you can, because on the poster, it's Salma Hayek, Tiffany Haddish, and Rose Byrne.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one white woman on a movie poster. When are you ever in your life have seen multiple?
True.
If there's a bunch of women on a movie poster, you're just like, oh, only one of them is going to be black, or none of them are going to be any person of color.
Usually not.
Yeah.
Usually none. So I think it helped the cause if it wasn't specifically for black people. I do think it helped the cause of seeing women of color driven movies.
That makes sense.
Because the precipitating factor to all of the action in the movie was what Salma Hayek, her character, was directing.
Damn, that makes me think of it different. I gave it a palm because I was like, man, I don't know if this helped them. Because I was like, since it didn't make money, I was like, did it help Tiffany? But also Tiffany's so big now that she just gonna be Tiffany. I will say I did like it, but I got to see, so I watched Pose and I got to see Billy Porter in like a comedy, so that made me feel real happy.
Yes.
So
yes.
I mean, also it's so hard to hear his voice now from watching Pose. So it just hearing him speak just puts me in a different place. Cause like when he's like when he's Freytel and he's speaking at the balls, like he just has this energy, and like I just hear it now. Like even when he shuts them up, I just hear how he talks to everybody. But yeah, I still enjoyed it.
I
did.
When you go sit your ass down talking, I love that. That's when you know. This is when you know we're your friends.
Yes.
Where you're just like, I'm not. But sit down. We are having this conversation. Because she sat right down. She's like, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yes.
That was amazing. Yes. That was great. And he had a great, reason to yell at her too. He was like, it's not even that you fired me. It's like, you literally never talked to me after. Like, what's up with that? But Billy Porter and Tasha Rothwell was also great in it. Yeah. And the other two, like Selma and Tiffany, were great. So it was good. It was good. I think Yeah, this was one of those movies where like race really wasn't like they didn't really talk about it at all, which
Not
honestly is
once.
yeah, literally not once.
It was so great. It was so great because no one said anything about that. It was they had like when they showed like the young group of girlfriends.
Oh yeah,
where it was the black friend and the white friend, and it was obvious them being like, "Oh, this is us," but no one ever referenced the fact. How is this white girl friends with? They're at that rich white lady's house all the fucking time. And it's just, we're just here. But there's so many times like growing up, like I think I talked about more about race as an adult than I think I ever did as a kid.
Yeah.
You're
Definitely.
You're just friends with people. And then like eventually you'd be like, you know, like when my friends like in our neighborhood be like, Felipe, bring your Mexican ass on. He's like, I'm not Mexican. I'm from El Salvador. That's the most. We would talk about it. Like, they keep doing it. And they got to the point where me and Felipe were like, he's from El Salvador. He's like, I know where he's from. I just fuck with him. But like, other than that, I was also went to a really diverse school. So it's like, we were all different. Everybody knew the words to suavemente. Like, we weren't out here talking about this all the time, but it's nice to just see like an interracial friendship and not everybody in the movie is always talking about, well, it's so great that they're friends and it's so nice that they're friends. Like, it's just, it gets annoying sometimes. It's like, bitch, we see them. We didn't need this mentioned 25 times in this movie.
Yeah. Exactly. Dulce, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thanks,
where can people find you? Can they find you on social media or? I'm
on the interwebs. I'm on the Instagrams. I have a page on Facebook, but I'm rarely on it because who wants to argue with other people's aunties? And I'm on Twitter, even though I don't understand it. And I'm on the interwebs. So yeah, and it's all at Dulce Sloan, DULCESLOAN. It's spelled in Spanish, not Italian. And I'm updating my website. Who knows what it's gonna look like when I'm done? But it's still the same as it was before right now. But thank you for having me. I'm so glad you guys had me on.
No, thank you. Seriously.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Yes, and everyone keep watching The Daily Show.
Yeah, I'm on that too. I'm glad I got to tell you how much I loved Astronomy Club.
Honestly, that was shocking. Thank you so much. That was great.
Fucking love that show. How do we bring it back? They keep saving one day at a time. How do we save Astronomy Club? Because they worked hard to save that damn show.
Yo, they definitely did. It's been on 3 different networks. I think it's on its.
Bruh, and it was a cartoon at one point. I'm like, they're not fucking playing with this one day at a time show. So I don't know if y'all need to go animated. I don't know what has to happen. But I wanted to call it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can follow us at Black Men Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. BlackmenPodcast.com is our website. Follow me at John Braylock. James is at James Third Comedy.
Yep, and I'm at Jerah Milligan on Twitter and Instagram. And y'all.
Bye, friends.
Yeah, thank you.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcast.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram at Forever Dog Team and liking our page on Facebook.